this lesson will involve translating different sentences to algebraic equations and then solving them. So I will try to work through this with you, taking it kind of one word at a time and changing it into an equation. So twice a number. Twice obviously goes with the number 2. So twice a number. We don't know what the number is. I am going to call that number x. So I don't know what x is. So what the number is, so I will call it x. So twice a number would be 2 times x, which we would write as 2x, plus, obviously means to do plus, 4 equals 6. Okay, so that one was pretty basic to translate. And then we need to solve the number. So the hardest part is to make the equation. Here's the equation to start with. And now we are going to solve this. I will do this very quickly since our previous lesson really involved this, but I will need to subtract 4. And then, of course, I will have 2x equals 2. Divide by 2. And x would be 1 in this case. So the number we are talking about is 1. Okay, here we go. 14 less than a number. I cannot tell you how many people will do this. Okay, so first of all, we don't know what the number is. I will call that x. And so many people take this word for word and they go 14 less than, which means to subtract a number. Is typically means equals 27. If that's what you did, this is not right. If you want to make something, if you want something to be 14 less than than a quantity, 14 less than a quantity, that means it has to be 14 smaller than that quantity. Okay? To make it be 14 smaller than the quantity, you need to take the quantity and subtract 14 from it. Okay, so that's how this one should look. And then you will need to add 14. By the way, I'm going to box this off for you. So there's the equation. Add 14 to solve it, and x will be 41. Okay, so 4/5 would be a fraction. Increased by means to add a number. I don't know what it is, so I will call it x. Is equals 2/3. Okay, so here's my equation. I know it has fractions in it, so don't panic, but I will subtract 4/5. And I will do this off to the side here. So I have 2/3 minus 4/5. I would want to get common denominators. So I will multiply this side by 5 and this side by 3. So I have 10/15 minus 12/15, which is negative 2/15. So 2/3 minus 4/5 is negative 2/15. All right, so here we go. 3/4, that's a fraction, is typically means equals negative 1/8, so negative 1/8 of a number. Of, in math, typically means to multiply, and I don't know the number, so I will call it x. So here, to solve for x, I will either divide by negative 1/8 or multiply by its reciprocal, which is negative 8/1. A negative times a negative makes a positive, so that will be okay there. And so then I have, this can reduce, and I will have negative 6. All right, a number, which I don't know, and I know you're seeing the word is, but be careful. A number is divided by, so a number is divided by 2. That quotient is then added to 8, and if you want to put the plus 8 on the other side, that's fine. You can add in either order, so you can have the quotient plus 8 or 8 plus the quotient. You would get the same answer either way. So, anyways, a number is divided by 2. The quotient is added to 8. The result, so that's equals, is 33. Okay? So first of all, I will subtract, and by the way, I should box this off. I keep forgetting to do that. So there's your equation. Then I will subtract 8, and I have x over 2 equals, and then 33 minus 8 is 25. And to solve for x here, I will multiply by 2, and so x comes out to be 50. All right, 2 is subtracted from a number. So 2 is subtracted from a number. So I have this number, which I will subtract 2 from. Then that difference, so the whole entire difference, that whole quantity is divided by 3, and the result is 30. Okay, so there's my equation on that one. And then to solve it, I will multiply by 3. And I'll have n minus 2 equals 90. Add 2, and n would be 92. All right, and then the last one like this. A number is multiplied by 2. So a number, I don't know that number, it's multiplied by 2, so I will say 2x. Then the product, this is the product right here. 2 times x is 2x. That product is added to 9, and again, I could put the 9 on the other side, that's fine. The result is 49. Okay? And then, of course, you need to solve. So I will subtract 9. 2x equals 40. Divide by 2. And x is 20. Here's your equation that I again forgot to box off. All right, now these next couple are a little bit trickier. So we have the length of a rectangle, which is 6 more than its width. And I don't know its width either, okay? I do not know its width. So I'm going to call the width W. I don't know the length either, but what I do know is that the length is 6 more than the width. So if it's 6 more than, that means I need to add 6 to the width. So that's what it looks like. The perimeter of the rectangle is 24. So now let's think about how you find perimeter. So I find perimeter by adding up all the sides. So right here I have a W, and right here I have a choice on this side right here. I could choose to add L for length, or I could choose to add W plus 6. And the key is you can only have one variable, one letter in your equation. So I am going to choose to add the W plus 6 there. Okay? So again, I'm going to add the W plus 6, the W, and again, of course, down here I could choose. I could add the L, or since they're equal, I could add the W plus 6. And I am going to choose to add the W plus 6 so that I stick with one variable or one letter in this whole equation. So W plus W plus 6 plus W plus W plus 6. I know some of you have a shorter way to do this, and if you do, that's fabulous. When I add that all up, that's how I find perimeter. So that's how I would find it, is add up all the sides, and when I do that, I will get 24 inches. Okay, now let's simplify this a little bit. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 W's plus this 6 right here and this 6 right here makes 12, and I will get 24. Okay, and so now I can subtract 12, and I will get 4W equals 12, divide by 4, and W equals 3. And a lot of people will stop right there and be done. So I want you to be careful, because I want you always to go back and read the question it asks you. The question is, find the length and the width. Okay? So I know that the width right here is 3 inches. And what I know is that the length is 6 inches more than that. So I know that the length will be 3 plus 6, which will be 9 inches. Okay, so make sure that somewhere along the line you answer both of those questions. All right, this is kind of similar, except for now we're going to deal with fractions. The width is 1/3 its length. I don't know what the length is. I do not know that, so I am going to call this L and this L. What I know about the width is that it's 1/3 of the length, okay? And on a rectangle, of course, we know that the opposite sides have the same length. So I know that that's also 1/3 of its length. Okay, now I'm dealing with perimeter again, and with perimeter you add up all the sides. So the only choice I have right here on this side is to add the L, and right here on this side is to add the L. On this side, I could choose to add the W, or I could choose to add 1/3 L. And since I need to stick with one variable, I am going to add 1/3 L. So I have L plus 1/3 L plus L plus 1/3 L. So that's how I find perimeter. I add up all the sides. And when I do that, I should get 32 inches according to this right here. All right, now, don't freak out here. You have 1, 2, plus 1/3 is 2/3. So basically you have 2 and 2/3 L. Now, I am going to switch that so that instead of as a mixed number, it's going to be an improper fraction. And of course, you're going to take the 3 times the 2, which is 6, and then add the 2 to get 8. So I have 8/3 L equals 32. Okay, and then to solve for L, I will multiply by its reciprocal, which is 3/8. This is a 1, this is a 4, and 4 times 3 is 12. So the length is 12 inches, and a lot of people will stop right there, so go back and make sure you've answered the question. The question is find the length and the width. Okay, so we know that the length is 12 inches, and that the width is 1/3 of 12. Multiplying by 1/3 is the same as dividing by 3. 12 divided by 3 would be 4 inches. All right, and then the last one, write the equations to find x and y. So you have to think about this because it's not real obvious. But if you think about a rectangle, you know that the opposite sides have the same length. So I know that this side here and this side here should have the same length. If they have the same length, I can set them equal to each other. So I can go x plus 15 equals 42, and then of course solve. And 42 minus 15 would make x to be 27. Okay. Very similarly, these two sides will have the same length on a rectangle. So y minus 12 has to equal 30. Add 12. And y will come out to be 42. All right, and that should do it.